Okay, so we're gonna try and get into this and film this and let this be the last time that I stop and pause this video, because I have started it and paused it and started it and paused it like 5, maybe 6 times already. And it's because like I'm crying and I'm trying to gather my thoughts, and I don't want to say too much, but at the same time I don't want to say too little and belittle the situation. And the situation that I'm talking about is the murder that took place. My mother was murdered by her husband, and I kind of hate to just like dive in it, but I feel like if I don't, then like I'm sitting here like trying not to say that, but that is what it is, and I have to call it what it is. And it's been some years. It's been about a year since I could like actually form that mental thought and say my mom was murdered. And this is why I keep pausing it. So I wasn't mentally prepared for what I've gone through in the past, these past years. I wasn't mentally aware of what it would feel like to have your mother taken from you. Many lose their parents due to cancer of any sort, and there's cancer or just diseases or even sicknesses or illnesses that you're prepared for. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes people are prepared and have preparation for, okay, this is gonna happen, my mom or my dad or my wife, they're gonna die. And I don't want to accept it, but I know that it's gonna happen. They're gonna pass away. And even then, you're not even prepared for what you're about to go through, because you don't know what it is you're about to go through. And the difference in my situation is that my mother was murdered by her husband, of all people. She was murdered by someone that she trusted, someone that she married, someone that she had a home with, someone that she lived with, someone that she slept with, someone that she ate dinner with, someone that she cared for, someone that she was building a future with, took her life. And I can't even begin to explain to you all the trust issues that have been developed in between then and now with just that. That is a mouthful. The person that took your life was your spouse. It causes trust issues. It causes an unexplainable hurt. It hurts. The hurt is so different because, first off, like, my mother carried me for 9 months. My mom gave birth to me. My mom nurtured me. My mom took care of me. My mom was there for my first heartbreak. My mom was there for the birth of my firstborn. My mom was virtually there for the birth of my firstborn at work, because I lived in a different state. But my mama was there through it all. When I became a mom for the first time, my mother was there with me. My mother was there to, let me know, like, hey, you're a woman now. You have a kid. This is what you have to do. This is what you need to do. This is where she was a mom. She was a mother. She was a mother. And my mom was unlike anybody my mother was like, she was unlike anybody that I've ever had a relationship. That was my mom. Like, it's unexplainable. Like, you can't replace your mom, but at the same time, it's like that's my mom. So my mom's and my relationship with my mother it was tight. It was tight, and she was my best friend. My mom was my best friend. I told my mama everything. I confided in my mom about everything, and we had our differences sometimes. We agreed on different things sometimes, but that was my mother. And you can't replace it. You can't replace a mom. And there's nothing, whether you are prepared, whether you are not prepared, there is nothing in this world that prepares you for the hurt that you are going to feel when you lose a parent. There's nothing. The love that I had from my mom was unconditional. It's irreplaceable. I will never have a love like that. Don't get me wrong, I have kids, you know what I mean? Those are my babies. And that's a different kind of love. But the love that you have for your mother, the relationship, the bond, the connection, it's unlike anything. And if you are blessed enough to have it, consider yourself fortunate. You are blessed. You are so blessed to have a relationship with your mother. I think that for the first year or two, the biggest thing that I mentally struggled with was coming to conclusion that my kids belong to me, right? My kids are here, and I'm here, and I belong to them. They belong to me. But like, what do you do when your mom has passed away, right? And you feel like you no longer belong to someone. And I think for the longest time, that's what I dealt with. I dealt with the feeling of like, who do I belong to now? Who do I call when I have a question about a body part? Who do I call when one of my daughters are having an issue with their body parts and I don't know what to do? Who do I call when I don't know what this means on my bill statement? Who do I call when I'm filing taxes? Who do I call when I have just started a business? Who do I call when I find out I'm pregnant? Who do I call when I'm having marital problems that's gonna keep it real with me and be honest with me and not be around the bush with me? My mom was, one thing about my mother was that she was straight up. She was straight to the point. She did not beat around the bush with you. She was gonna tell you how it is, and that's just it in a nutshell. Like, I don't think your marriage is gonna work, or you know, you need to get her this. You shouldn't be giving her all of this. She cared about how it made you feel, but my mama was gonna be honest with you, like, step your game up, or you know, hold on. Why does it look like that? So I'm never gonna find anybody that's as real as my mother. I'm just not, and I've accepted it. I have moved on from the idealistic thought process that, you know, I'm gonna have another relationship like that. I'm not, and it is what it is. It just is what it is. And forgive me, I don't really care about how anybody feels about that. That's just how I cope with things. I'm a very, it is what it is kind of person, and I feel like that's how I feel like I have developed that personality, because what can you do? You're gonna hurt. You're gonna cry. Grieving, to go into the next topic of grieving is something else, right? So with grieving for the first year, I did not know if I was coming or going. Like, I didn't know if I was up or down. And I'm the kind of person that's just like, get it together, especially with kids, get it together. I got in with a counselor. We were, online at the time. It was during COVID in 2019. So I got in with a counselor, and y'all, the first experience with a counselor back at Fort Campbell, I went to a counselor back at Fort Campbell, and the experience was horrible. And it was an experience, but the counselor pretty much told me in a nutshell that they just could not help me because the case was active and they couldn't talk to me. So then I went over to the hospital, and I needed to talk to somebody who was going to shake me back into reality. And I did not receive that. I didn't get that help. They wanted me to leave and come back in 3 days. And I said, no, I need to talk to someone now. And then they wanted me to leave and come back close to the end of the day. And then they called me and told me that the counselor had left. So I was just like, you know what? Screw this, because I need to sit down and talk to someone. And at the time, my aunts and I, we, on my mom's side of the family, none of us were like getting along. And yeah, none of us were getting along during the most hardest time, throughout the most difficult time in transition that we were going through. Me and my aunts and even my sister were not getting along because so much had taken place between them and I was just like, I can't even talk to y'all. So dealing with that, and then dealing with, oh, you gotta schedule an appointment. Oh, you're gonna have to wait a month, or no, I apologize. You're gonna have to wait like 2 weeks. You're gonna have to wait like 3 weeks. Honey, if I'm having thoughts about suicide, or if I'm having thoughts about freaking diving down the stairs, and mind you, I'm pregnant at this time, right? I'm pregnant with my middle child. I'm pregnant. This was a month after, no, this is less than a month after my mom had passed away. I'm literally sitting here talking to this lady, explaining to her that I need to talk to someone now. She's like, no, we can't get you in today. So I'm just going through everything. Family and I aren't talking on my husband's side. And then at this time, I was decent. I was good with my husband's side of the family. But that then quickly came to a very, we're now currently, we just don't talk. Again, when you are going through things, you are in a transition, and you don't know whether you are coming or going. And that transition is scary. It's terrifying. And until you go through it, you don't know, and you don't understand what I'm saying. You don't understand what it feels like until you go through it. So you're dealing with pregnancy, ridiculous family drama, trying to lay your mom to rest, finding out that your mom's organs and her brain wasn't buried with her, them losing my mom in transit from Tennessee to Atlanta, siblings not being present at the funeral. Mind you, I'm Muslim and I'm at a Christian church. I was present. Y'all, I'm saying how I feel today. Going through the transition that I went through, I dealt with a lot. So it's taught me that I am a strong individual. I'm a strong woman, and at this point, I know that there are other obstacles, subhanAllah, that Allah could toss in my direction. I'm not dumb to that. And to go through what I've gone through and to be where I'm at right now, is miraculous to me, and it says a lot to me about who I am that I didn't even know I was. What I went through with family, and family acquaintances, yes, that was an experience. But this new journey that I am now in is, it can't be, it's not, it can't be undone. Family drama can be squashed and undone, and it has been on my mom's side of the family. It has been, but you can't undo damage, and this goes into Jerome, which was my mom's husband's name. This goes into his side of the family. Again, some of the things we've been through, me, myself, my aunt, and my sister, and my husband, going to court, they were completely unapologetic. Like, they didn't even care to apologize. Then they had the whole audacity to sit in the courtroom with us and act as though nothing had happened, like they were the victims. Cried on the stand for their brother. No one apologized. No one said, I'm sorry for what my brother did. I'm sorry for his actions. No one was sympathetic. No one, they didn't care. And again, like, this journey and this experience has taught me that people genuinely, there are some who do care for you, and there are some just that they don't care. Your brother took a whole life. Like, you murdered my mom. Your son, your brother, mom and dad, your son murdered my mom. He took a woman away from her 5 kids. Her oldest, my sister, my brother, my 2 youngest brothers, and myself. It's 5 of us. And he took all of us from her for nothing. And I think that's another thing that I struggle with, is coming to the conclusion or trying to figure out what it is that led up to that. Like, what led up to you feeling like you had to beat my mom to death? What made you feel like you had the right to take a life? He is sitting behind bars now for the rest of his life, and mind you, the judge sentenced him to life in prison with a chance of parole. It's the chance of parole for me, right? I definitely think there's going to be a part 2 of this, maybe even a 3, because I do have a lot to say. This situation is unexplainable. My husband comes home, and he comes home from Arizona. We go mattress shopping. We go walking around the mall. Normal day, husband's home, mom knows, hey mama, husband's coming home, so excited, girl, I can't wait for my husband to get home. That's the kind of relationship we had. Like, my husband's coming home, I cannot wait, I am excited. It's been about a month, I miss my husband. So I'm going to get my nails done, I'm going to get my toes done. You mind watching London for me? Yeah, bring her on over, she can play with the boys, play with Laura. We ain't doing nothing today. Okay, drop her off. I took pictures that day. Go get my nails done, go get my toes done. Just a normal day, right? Not knowing that my life is about to change for the rest of my freaking life. And I then, my husband's like, hey, Queen, we just landed. I'm done. My toes are done, my nails are done, and I'm dressed, my makeup's on. Just got a new outfit. I look good. The house is clean. I done planned dinner out. We're gonna get Chinese that night. I go pick him up. And I let my mom know, hey mom, look, we're gonna spend a couple hours together. Do you mind watching London? Don't mind. Da 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 da. So then we go get London, and then we go mattress shopping for a bigger bed, because at this time it's me, my husband, and London. London's in the middle. My husband's over here. I'm over here in a full-size bed. We needed a bigger bed. So we're out mattress shopping, and you know, we go get something to eat, and we go to the Chinese buffet, and we get food from the bar. And as we're getting food from the bar, I send my mom a picture of my daughter, y'all, and I still to this day have all our text messages. I send my mom a picture of my daughter, and the last thing that my mother said to me was, towards my daughter, you know, towards my daughter, my beautiful baby girl. I love my baby. She's beautiful. It was a picture of London, my oldest daughter. That was the last thing my mother said to me. And then following that, I'm getting text messages from my brother. And just to kind of run through, because I'm not going to go through every single detail. I get text messages from my brother. And my brother Kobe is like, hey, Kira, you know, something's going on. Can y'all go check on mama? I was like, yeah, I'll swing over there after we leave. He just keeps texting me. So now I'm just like, I'm kind of worried. So now I'm calling my mom, like, you know, what's up? And she's not answering. She's not answering. She's not answering. I'm calling, she's not answering. I'm calling, she's not answering. I'm like, okay, you know. Doesn't feel unusual yet. So I'm calling. Now it feels unusual because, like, yeah, my mom will ignore me about 3 times, and that's our max. Like 3 times, then stop calling me. But then I'm just like, something doesn't feel like, I just got a feeling like something, and it was a feeling that I'd never gotten a feeling like this in my life. And it was so overwhelmingly, it was so overtaking, like I can't explain it, but it was like something had just left me, like, but kind of like a come to me, like come to me. The feeling that I got was like a come to me, like, you know, like come to me, like right now, like I need you to come here. And you know, like I said, I can't explain it, but I feel like it was a connection. I feel like my mom had already passed away, and I feel like that's what I was feeling. Now we're on our way home, get through the gate, we get to the house, and I'm getting the food out of the car. We get into the house, talking to Kobe, we get upstairs, we're about to pray. And I'm like, babe, we need to go right now. Like, we need to go like right now, because something's not right. He's like, okay, but let's just pray and then we'll leave. I was like, no. And I'm Muslim. If you're Muslim, I'm Muslim. We're putting off prayer. We need to go right now. Right now. Like, right now. Get in the car. You better yet, I'll drive. Let's go. Because it's that real. Like, let's go. So I'm still calling her, no answer. We pull up to my mom's house. I get out of the car. My husband gets out of the car. We walk up to the door. And this is where my life changed. Because I get to the door and we knock on the door. My brothers are hanging out of the window at the top crying. So now I'm like, okay. What's going on? So I get to the door, I'm looking up at the boys, they're hanging out of the window. I hear nothing yet. I'm gonna call him the demon. I'm gonna stop calling him by his name because he doesn't deserve that earthly name anymore. The demon comes to the door, and the demon cracks. No, astaghfirullah. I lied. So backtrack a little bit. My brother's hanging out of the window. I tell Cameron, come to the door. Like, come to the door. Come open the door. And he's crying. Like, I can tell, like, something's up. But I'm trying to keep a, you know, like, energy. Like, just come to the door. I'm here now. We're here. It's okay. Come to the door. He comes downstairs. He takes care of there's glass everywhere. Red alert. Instantly. There's glass everywhere. Mind you, like, let me pause for a second. I feel like when you've never gone through trauma this bad, you don't know what to expect. You don't think that the C word, the virus, the C word could happen to you until it happens to you, right? You don't think that cancer can happen to you until it happens to you. You don't think that a car crash can happen to you until it happens to you. You are that person. You don't think that my mother could be murdered by her husband and we are that family that's happened to. That wasn't running through my mind, y'all. So I'm sitting here talking to him like they just got into an argument and it probably got out of control. Glass was probably thrown because it's happened before. I'm just being honest. It had happened before. So that's why I was very nonchalant at that time. So he comes downstairs to continue. He comes downstairs. Mind you, I'm thinking like it's nothing that severe. Like they probably just got an argument through things. She's probably somewhere in her room talking. Cameron and Kaden are just scared because they probably think, you know, my mom's doing whatever. I didn't know. So Cameron comes downstairs. He's like, Kira, at the window. He's like, Kira, there's just a lot of glass. So he comes downstairs and then he's at the door. And then the demon, I see the demon. Now I know what it was. It was a chair leg in his hands, right? And I didn't know at that time that you had just beaten my mom to death, that chair leg, with a chair leg. Okay? So the door slams instantly. I'm walking into the house because the door just opened up. So I'm walking into the house. Mind you, I kind of saw a little bit of debris on the floor, a little bit of glass. So now when he shut that door, that's when I was like, yeah, nah. Now let me take my heels off. Mind you, the heels that I'm wearing, okay? It's a chunky heel. Still got scuff marks from that night, from the sidewalk, and me just trying to peel them off my freaking feet. This is around my ankle. And he just slammed the door in my face. Got my feet out of this part and my feet was over here. And I'm walking with the heel dangling on the ground. So now I'm walking towards the back of this house to get into the back. Get it through the back. My husband's in the front. So I get through the back gate. The thing that I see, y'all, is my mother's blood all over the back of the door. Again, in my head, I'm thinking, you know, maybe my mama's wounded, maybe my mama's hurt, maybe she cut him, or maybe, you know, someone got cut. But then I'm getting closer. Now I'm starting to see a little bit more, and I'm starting to see a little bit more, and it doesn't look like, it looks like something else just took place. So now I'm walking closer to the door, and I get closer to the back door, and I see my mom laying on her kitchen floor from the back door patio. The blinds were in the debris. They were moved. So I could see into the back door just enough, crouched down. I could see my mom's body laying on the floor. And when I tell you guys, the amount of hurt that I felt at that moment, and the amount of disbelief, and the amount of, I didn't even know what the hell was going on. I didn't even know how to process it. But I knew something had happened. So I can't breathe. I'm holding my stomach and I'm backing up. I didn't know whether to pick a patio chair up and sling it through the window to get to my mom. I know that my mother's dead because her face is my face, right? My eyeballs, my nose, my mouth, my face. This was all white foam and open. Blood was everywhere, from the refrigerator to the ceiling, on the floor. And just to go into graphics with you guys, this son of a bitch, this evil man beat my mom so bad that my mother had teeth in her stomach. Jawbone was lying beside her. Blood was everywhere. From where she was, from walking, it was a good couple feet from where she was to the back of the wall, blood everywhere. I'd never seen so much blood in my existence. So I'm mentally gone right now. And I'm backing up from the door. I'm holding my stomach and I'm backing up. I've thrown up. Mind you, at this time, I didn't even know I was pregnant at this time. So I'm holding my stomach and I'm backing up, right? And my nerves are all over the place. I'm trying to scream, but I can't scream. I just can't scream. Like I'm trying to talk, but I can't. And I'm backing up. I'm tripping over the heel that's on my ankle, and I'm backing up from the back door, and I'm backing up. And I then start screaming. And when I started screaming, neighbors are now coming outside. Opening up the door, 911's being called. By the time I got from the back door, a neighbor, my mom's fence is here, there's an alley, then there's another fence. They're looking out of the window. They're looking out of the window. They're looking out of the window. I'm coming out of the side gate and around the back. From the alley, there's an open way that splits the gates from my mom's gate and another person's gate. I'm coming up that alley, out of the fence, up and then out. And I've never blacked out in my life. And I'm not, I can't think, I can't form a thought or a sentence. Like I can't even process what the hell I had just seen. And I told my husband flat out, he murdered. My exact words were, my mom is dead, Chabrel, my mom is dead. And I'm screaming it, the entire neighborhood hears me. He's murdered my mom is dead. And I'm screaming, get my brothers out of the house. My husband bust the entire door down, grabbed my niece off the couch, put her in the car, locked the car. Because mind you, I'm on the sidewalk. Neighbors are now outside, like a lot of people are outside. My husband's in the house. And from there, I blacked out. And next thing I knew, a neighbor was dragging me across the street, laying me on the sidewalk, heard the ambulance coming, like within seconds of me coming from behind that fence. Ambulance were pulling up within minutes. And even in that moment, I'm like, there's no way in hell that my mom is dead. There is no way, right? But yeah, I can't explain what I felt that night. I can't begin to express to you guys what that felt like. I can't. I can't. I kept asking the paramedics if there was a chance that my mom was still alive, right? Like, is there any chance? Are you sure? Like, I was like, right, man. The paramedic was like, ma'am, right now I can't really tell you whether or not there is life, because we don't know. And it was like boom, like a wave. It was like a wave. And then I just kept going up to the paramedics and I kept asking them, you know, what is the status? Is she okay or is she not okay? And then he walked away from me. Mind you guys, to kind of backtrack, this demon had the audacity to try and escape, right? He had the audacity to try to get in my mom's car and let the garage up and try and leave. He hopped in the backseat of my mom's car, and the cops held him at gunpoint and arrested his ass. And because my husband's car was parked immediately behind his, that's what prevented him from leaving. We were parked in the driveway. So again, paramedics come out, and I asked another guy, another EMT, because now like they ran into the house and they're running in with things and they're trying to do their job, right? And it's just a lot of things going on. There's cops here, cops there. My brothers are being taken out of the house. Now they're being brought across the street. And I'm just like, you know, what's going on? I need a status right now. Like, can somebody tell me what's going on? And the guy was like, I'm standing here in tears, right? And the paramedic and an MP, they're looking at me. And if you're not aware what an MP is, a military police. He's looking at all these people outside, and he's like, who made the 911 call? He was asking questions. And then I hear him turn around to the guy and go, is there anyone else in the house? And then I hear the guy dispatch and go, we're here with the deceased. And yeah, I paced the sidewalk. I called my mom's sisters that night. I called my aunt. I'm calling. No one's answering. Then I call Facebook and they answer, and I get a hold of, I believe, my cousin Brittany first, and then I hear my aunt Vicky in the background hysterically screaming when she received that news. And then I believe from that on, from that moment to me letting everyone know, I can't even remember. So, and then I walk up to the paramedic again, and I'm just like, are you sure that there is no life? And he was like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm her daughter. And they start asking me questions. And I explained to him, you know, I need to know, is there any chance of life? He said, no, she is deceased. I feel like my ears caved in, my heart caved in, my everything just came to a halt. My entire existence froze in that moment. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to think. I didn't even know how to talk. I sat on the sidewalk in the cold. Neighbors were asking questions left and right. Are you okay? Da 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 da, this and that. And I'm just like, and looking at her house, watching cops go in and out. And it's like everything was happening in slow motion, right? They bring him out of the house, lean him up against the cop car, have his back up against the cop car. You can see the blood on him. He just looks nonchalant, just like. For a split second, I thought about jumping across that street and slapping the shit out of him. Because, and a neighbor was like, if you jump right now, you run across the street, I'm not gonna stop you. Because there's cops, but I knew what had happened. I knew he had done it. I knew it. I knew he'd done it. That night affected a ton of people in that neighborhood. When I tell y'all, I've been mentally holding in so much, and you know, that's only some of it. That's what's sick. Cherish your loved one, because you never know you don't know what God's decree is. So I feel like I've grown to value relationships deeper. My mother wanted to YouTube, and she wanted to share her journey with her new life. And that's why I've just been so hesitant, because it's like, I want to do this now. I want to share my journey so that my kids can have footage of me. Because you never know what's going to happen to you. I want to document every bit of my life for my kiddo, every bit of my life for my kids, so that they can look back at footage and go, that was my mom. This is where we lived. This is how my mom was. This is how she sound. Because when you lose someone, the little bitty things matter. That jacket that she wore all the time, that last video she sent you, that last FaceTime call, the last thing that was said to you, the smell of her skin. My mom did a live on Facebook, I think it was, and those are now cherishable moments, irreplaceable moments that you want to put on a CD drive and save. So y'all, my heart goes out to anybody and everybody that has lost a parent or has lost anyone that you loved. I see you, and if you ever want to talk, you can DM me, you can message me. I do want to go into deeper conversations when it comes to grieving and what has helped me grieve, and just kind of explain what my journey has been like. So if you do want to talk and you just want to share with me what you've been through, or share advice with me, I am open to that. I'm open to advice. You can DM me over on my Instagram page at Kiera_King. I think it's 22 or